Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am. This is Deepika. Shall we start the session, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Okay, ma'am. The beautiful thing about today is that you get the choice to make it better than yesterday. A happy afternoon to one and all present here. On behalf of Department of English, PPG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore, I welcome you all to the fifth day of 7-day national level virtual faculty development program on Discourse on Cross Culture and Cultural Trauma. And the topic of today is cultural discrimination in the novel That Long Silence. With this note, I would like to welcome today's guest, Ms. N. Deepa, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Dr. S.N.S. Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. To welcome her, I would like to invite Ms. V. Menaka Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of English.
To build a
Thank,
strong country, we need young people who are at the top of their game physically and mentally. A warm good afternoon to one and all present here. I feel delighted to introduce our chief guest of the day, Mrs. N. Deepa, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Dr. S.N.S. Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. She has 6 years of industry experience and 4 years of academic experience. She was a person with multiple talents. She was qualified in MBA and currently pursuing MSc Psychology and PhD. In life, having a support network of loved ones who believe in you is crucial. I feel proud to share her efforts in bringing their students to uplift their career. She has supported many students both financially and mentally to enrich their lifestyle. Many of her students got placed in a reputed company, and some of them are working as assistant professor. It is a great pleasure to expose her achievements. He has published many articles and presented papers in national and international conferences. She was acted as a resource person conducted by UIT College, Coimbatore. Last but not least, she volunteered herself in every possible ways. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for coming.
thank you, Menaka. So, can you please play the PPT, if you don't mind? So, I really thank Menaka for giving me this opportunity, and I'm really proud to say that Menaka is my student while she was here in SNS, Dr. SNS Rajalakshmi College. So, we have traveled nearly 5 years together. And I'm very happy that now she has been an assistant professor in a very reputed college, PPG Arts and Science. So thank you, Menaka. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
I'm very happy to be a part of the 7-day national level virtual faculty development program on cross culture and cultural trauma. So before that, I would like to extend my gratitude to the management, PPG College of Arts and Science, Principal Madam, Muttumani ma'am, because I'm also aware of her when I was a student in SNR Science. So I think she remember me. So very happy to be a part of this program. So my topic is like cultural discrimination in the novel That Long Silence by Sashi Deshpande. So this novel is a very peculiar novel which describes the uh, uh, sufferings of women, especially women, throughout the 90s, 80s, 90s, and even now, even in the 20th century. So Indian English literature has attained immense popularity and whispered recognition. It is no longer regarded as a substandard variety of English. So that's why I chosen this novel. I just love this novel. That's why I just chosen this novel. So we would like to know that we have won a lot of several prestigious awards by the I would like to know that Shashi Deshpande is the winner of the Sahitya Academy Award for this That Long Silence novel, 1989. Next slide. Shashi Deshpande, she has won Sahitya Academy Award for this novel That Long Silence. It was published during the year 1989. That Long Silence is a domestic novel. She has emerged as a writer possessing deep insight into the female psyche. So a lot of female side characters have been involved in all of the Sasidesh Pandey's novel, focusing on the marital relationship, and also she seeks to explore the tradition by which a woman is trained to play her role. I can say that, play her role in her family. Her novels reveal the patriarchal traditions and uneasiness of the modern Indian women. It will be like patriarchal character will be like a part of this part of her each and every novel of Shashi Deshpande. So Shashi Deshpande is an award-winning writer, mainly focusing on the tortures and sufferings of the middle class women. So that long silence is also one of the peculiar novel, which has a lot of in-depth theme and also sufferings about one particular protagonist, Jaya Kulkarni. This here we have culture-oriented and gender-oriented and also feministic concept, conjugal concept and patriarchal system in this novel. As we hear that long silence, the pronoun that refers to the past things, and long shows the writer's sarcasm. So here we can find a lot of sarcasm throughout the novel, and the silence speaks of the innumerable sufferings that the women folk have braved, that women folk have borne all throughout their lives. So this is, as far as I'm concerned, reading Sachi Deshpande's novel, I can say that all the novels, whatever she has written, it seems to be very much a true, a live one. Live novels might be with an experience, or she might have undergone or heard or whatever it may be. It's really true according to her writings. She highlights the domestic conflict between wife and husband, operating the emotional and intellectual and sexual levels here in this novel. And here the novelist, being fully aware of the patriarchal system of Indian culture. So our Indian system is full of patriarchal culture, right? So I cannot say that because if I'm there surviving in that patriarchal culture, I couldn't able to be a assistant professor sitting here and talking with you people. But still, I'm just going with the novel. The novel is being fully aware of the patriarchal system of the Indian culture. So it happened during 90s. 1980s and 1990s, I think so. So the sufferance is like a golden, and throughout the novel is a feministic framework. So we cannot say that Shashi Deshpande is a feministic writer because during an interview, I think so, I've read this. During an interview, when the interviewer was pointing out Shashi Deshpande to be a women writer, she just objected that word because she really didn't like that word. I'm not a women writer, I'm a writer. So I cannot say that she's a feministic writer. Yes, she's a writer, that's all. So here, this is one point which I really loved in all the Shashi Deshpande's novel, and also the stereotyping, stereotyping, not only stereotyping the feministic approach, but also stereotyping each and every concept of women. I really love. That's why I just chose this novel. That Long Silence is essentially a domestic novel. Shashi Deshpande has superbly picturized the ins and outs of a conjugal life. So, conjugal life, so it's a mandatory procedure for everybody to get in touch with the conjugal life. So, the novel endeavors in launching a peace between the pain, sensitive wife and the egoistic and selfish husband. So throughout the novel, this is the happening. Lack of proper communication between the husband and wife is also a real culprit, or the real message which Sachi Deshpande is giving us. So it's really a wonderful novel named as that long silence, which starts with which starts with the pronoun and ends with a suspicion. Yes, ends with the conclusion that silence is the only thing, only weapon for a woman who's under a conjugal relationship or who's under a feministic mode of a relationship. The next, next slide. This novel is a first-person narrative. So this novel is a first-person narrative, and the story is unfolded by Jaya Kulkarni, the protagonist of this novel. So here we come across a lot of personifications, like she's compared to Sita, Savitri, and Draupadi. So where we cannot accept that Jaya Kulkarni is a personification of Sita, Savitri, and Draupadi, because symbolizing Jaya means it's symbolizing victory. But in actual life, she has to lead a traditional, passive, and obedient wife's role. So after her childhood was really good, and she enjoyed her childhood being inside the home because of some cultural happenings, cultural trauma because of her father. She used to live inside her house, and after that, becoming a wife, she also played a very passive role. She just want to be obedient. She wants to play the obedient wife's role. Since her childhood days, she has been told stories about Sita, Savitri, and Draupadi, so portraying the sharing of their husbands' travails. So those people like Sita, Savitri, and Draupadi followed their husbands' travails because they were behind them, right? They were like a great support for their husband. But here, Jaya refuses these models because they have lost all the significance in modern period. So as days passes, we are losing a lot of things, a lot of importance, and we have to always fight for our rights. We have to always stand for us, especially women. So Jaya refuses role models because they have lost all the significance in the modern life period. And she just say that Sita, Savitri, and Draupadi, the legendary women, followed their husbands willingly. So those are the women, they followed their husbands willingly. But in Jaya's case, she followed her husband Mohan. So her husband name is Mohan because of some compulsion. So there is a frank, brutal realization of this evil necessity in her conjugal life. So this is why, I have just given a simple personification just to understand how her conjugal life matters to her. Next slide. So here we can see very bold comments about the cultural conflict of silence begins in Jaya's life. So Shashi Deshpande, she has given a lot of bold comments. She don't bother about anybody. Yes, that's the thing I just loved in her. And here silence, no questions, no retorts, only silence. So this is how the novel gives us an answer, gives us a conclusion. The image reveals of a world of meaning. So, for example, we see bullocks yoked together, right, in a road. So, while seeing those bullock carts, right, bullock carts, we just come to a conclusion that they are tied together, they are yoked together, sharing their burden together between themselves. So that's what we can see, right? So when seeing a bullock carts, we come to a conclusion that they are tied together, so they have to bear the pain together, the burden together. So, but no one knows whether they love each other or not. Nobody cares whether the bullock carts love each other. No, we don't bother, right? So we want our duty to be done because bullock carts have to carry some goods, they have to travel along, and that's all. So here the ideological differences create each other or not. Yes, the ideological differences create a wide chasm between them, and they fail to understand each other. I can say that. And the result is their marital life shows shaky and shady. So here also, like Bullockars, nobody is caring about Jaya and Mohan because nobody wants to know what are their private side is about. So the results in their marital life grow shaggy and shaky because it rests on third thread of the compromise like that of bullets between them rather than based on love. So we don't bother whether they are in love or not because they have to travel all along. Once they are married, they have to travel all along. So out of our social sphere, we have to continue to be husband and wife, no other way. So this is what I have pre-written to allow women, in my point of view. So even though in the modern society we are women are entrepreneurs, women are pilot, women goes to moon, whatever it may be. So we have some social fear. That's why we continue to be husband and wife, not opening up for our fear and for our mutual need for each other, whatever it may be. We have to stick to that particular marriage life. So Mohan has married Jaya not out of love, but simply because she resembled like her dream girl. So that is the cause in this novel because Mohan doesn't love Jaya, so he just want to marry a girl who is like a dream girl for him. So when she talks fluently in English, he falls for her. He proudly asserts that, he proudly asserts to Jaya that the day when Mohan met Jaya, they were talking something which sounded much like the girl she had in his dream. So that's what he conveyed. Because see, you sound like a girl who came in my dream. That's why I just want to get married. So there are a lot of silly reasons to get married, right? So likewise, Mohan also having a very silly reason towards Jaya, where Jaya's a lot of dreams comes to an end. So throughout her married life of 17 years, so the whole novel covers up Mohan and Jaya, their sufferings, their marital status, their conjugal life, etc. So throughout their marital life of nearly 17 years, she manages her thoughts, feelings, and emotions within herself. In her zeal to be a loyal wife, she suppresses her desire to be an eminent writer. So yes, so very very compromising thing in Jaya's life is that she's a writer. She's a writer which her husband doesn't like at all. So Mohan always expressed his displeasure for her writing, but she also stopped at a point where her husband doesn't like her to write. So when Mohan was fired at his job, they lost their apartment, they lost everything. They have two children. Commonly, they suffer a lot. It's about a man who cannot reach out to his wife except through her body. So this is what the conjugal life matters to her. So as the character in the story reflects his own character in real life, he couldn't tolerate it. So he thinks that looking at his stricken face, I had been convinced I had done him wrong and I had stopped writing after that. So she has stopped writing only for Mohan. She had an inner urge to continue writing because we have a lot of passion towards our life, right? So likewise, Jaya also had a lot of passion towards writing where she has an urge to write. So, but many of the persons who are traveling with us will help us whenever we lack strong emotions, they'll be helping us. And Jaya also just learned to control her anger as Mohan has realized that her trait is unwomanly. So she often tell Jaya that she's unwomanly. So she just try herself to adjust with him. So adjustment is all about life to Jaya. So once a girl gets married to a man, whether it be a love marriage or an arranged marriage or whatever marriage it may be, the husband takes complete control over her. So whether the husband follows the right path or wrong path, she has to follow the same. So whether it's a love marriage or an arranged marriage or whatever marriage, whether the husband is traveling in the right path or he is in the wrong path, so we have to blindly follow his footsteps. So when Mohan is caught in an act of malpractice, so he was like he'll be taken away by police for doing some malpractices and is supposed to unavail for a certain period. He assumes that Jaya would accompany him. So whatever wrong a person is doing, a man is doing, definitely a woman should accompany. So this is what the situation of women. Certain women open their mouth at certain point. Certain women doesn't open their mouth at certain point because they have to live their life accordingly. So likewise, so here we saw a pair of bullock yoke together. So that is what the story I'm just trying to relate with. So it's like a bullock cart travel, right? Both are, here the principle is that both are yoked together, so better to go in the same direction. To go different directions will be painful. So this is what this cultural conflict of silence begins in Jaya's life. Amma, next slide. Okay, so here this is really a great trauma of Jaya, alias Shubhasini. So when Jaya was born, her father was naming her as Jaya, which means victory, and later this girl will be named as Suhasini by her husband. So we have to even adjust the name change accordingly to our marital status. So this is what the attitude difference between Jaya and Mohan brings into a matching silence. So here generally women's identity is identified by others in terms of their relationship with men. That is, as a daughter, as a wife, as a mother, etc. The question is, what a woman does is never asked. What a woman is never asked. So who she belongs to, that doesn't matter. She doesn't have an identity of her own. Her name from Jaya keeps on changing to Suhasini. So in that long silence, the writer has presented this phenomenon through the character of Jaya, who is known by two names. So this is also a very important point discussed by Deshpande, because even even a dog, say you take a dog, so dog is really a good animal. It's really a good animal, but still I'm just mentioning it an example. So even dogs would be having only one name, but here as Deshpande mentioned that Jaya have two names accordingly to her parental home as well as marital home. So, Jaya is nothing but Jaya names victory, and Suhasini is the name given after marriage, which means soft, smiling, placid, motherly women. So, here itself they have decided that giving a name Suhasini will make her very placid. Yeah, make her very calm and silent. So both the names. So here, both the names symbolizes the traits of her personality. Really, it is true that both the name symbolizes the traits of her personality. The former symbolizes the revolt, and the later symbolizes submission. So that is what Deshpande tries to make us understand. So here, Deshpande also depicts the cause of her name change according to her father and her husband. So she saw the strength in women sitting silently in front of the fire. But I saw despair. I saw a despair so great that it would not voice itself. I saw struggles so bitter that silence was the only weapon. Silence and surrender. So here, this is such a wonderful line from that novel, where whatever problem Jaya come across is, she handles and she voices herself with the tool, with the weapon, silence. So here one more beautiful quote: "A woman can never be angry. She can only be the neurotic hysterical, frustrated. That's a wonderful line from Deshpande. Yes, we have to be what? We have to be very silent in some cause to make our life in a better way. Next slide. Kana, next slide. So here we can see that Jaya's character. So we have a lot of characters. I have portrayed a lot of characters which have an very much balanced cultural impacts. Um, Deshpande describes the woeful plight of Jaya through the image of a woman crawling into a hole. So she has to just crawl into one sort of a hole which her husband has given her. Unsecured and she's much suffocated, Jaya feels a distance from her real life. Okay, she's scared of writing, she's scared of failing, and she's scared of her real life. She's having a fear, guilt, and everything about her life. She is unable to face the challenges. She is unable to face challenges and also want to retreat back to her safe family life. So whatever the cause is, she really wants to enjoy the family life in a silent manner. That long silence concentrates on an important theme, that is gender differentiation and valorizing of the male categories. So this is the main theme I've just come across in this novel. Gender discrimination. There's a lot of gender discrimination. So, for example, you can take all the Indian novels from 1980s till 2020. So you can leave this 2020 novels. We can leave it from 1980s till 1990s, and so all the novels, whatever novel we have read, maybe not Tagore's, but other women writers, all the novels, there comes the gender discrimination, and they are, and also male centric. That is, so here in this picture have you are pure virgin. I want a son within the first year. So this is what our 1980s to 1990 novel teacher taught us. Yes. So here, that long silence also concentrate on an important theme, which is gender discrimination, gender differentiation, valorization of male concepts, which seems to be the very important theme even now. So when we are blessed with two baby girls, they will be asking, oh, there's no, oh, you didn't have boy baby. So boy baby plays a very, very important role, but at the final stage, boy baby is not needed because girls are most needed because they are the people, they are the ones who take us at the end of our lives. So Deshpande also valorizes of the male category and self-identity. So Jaya, why Jaya is keeping on? Why Jaya is always being silent? So she wants her self-identity. So that is what here most of the cultural impacts of this that long silence taught us. So a plethora of self-doubt fears, smothered anger, and finally silence towards articulation and affirmation. That is what Jaya found her self-identity breaking up the silence. So how did she break up the silence? So when Morgan was fired from the job, she got the responsibility to take over the family. She started writing. So she nailed her writing with her important life denominations. So she has written a lot of lively example giving a comparison to her life. Next. So here also Deshpande has given a very important dark side of the so which also leads to a cultural trauma. So Kolkata city, we know that Kolkata, old name of Kolkata, Calcutta, is an anglicized version of the Bengalian name Kalikata. So here, Kolkata, great people like Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Rabindranath Tagore, many of them are from Bengal, that's Calcutta. So this is also having a very darkest side. Because why this cultural trauma is because of the dark side of the city. So that is what Deshpande is mentioning here. So it is also a city of joy, a city of places for not all the people, for few people. So I'm just reading out the importance of this Calcutta. Sitting right on the edge of the Bay of Bengal, Kolkata is found in East India. The world's sixth most common language, Bengali. So Bengali is a very popular and common language among the whole world because nearly a sixth common language it is. Population of nearly 14 billion population. Because of high population, people are suffering. Many women are getting trapped, and most probably it can be correlated with Mumbai, Delhi, most populated cities, metropolitan cities, one of the metropolitan cities. So here, so why Jaya is always silent? Why she wants to undergo all the cultural impacts and cultural trauma that her husband is yielding her? It is because she cannot go outside. She cannot go back to her mother's house or her parental home. She wants to live her life. So one more trauma here is that prostitution and sex trafficking. So this has become a very legal aspect, but it's not common for all the women because those who are willing, they can take part in this sex trafficking and prostitution. So not a heaven or for middle class people, they have to suffer till their last breath. So that's true. So we know if we just go back we go back to our old era, so we find four classes of people. One is Brahmanas, one is Kshatriyas, Sudras, Vaishnavas, Kshatriyas, and Sudras. So we have categories of people, right? So each and every people are allotted some job profile. So Brahmanas, they only preach. So likewise, here people in Calcutta, the middle class people in Calcutta, they suffer a lot comparing other people. Even the cultural trauma and uh, cultural trauma is because of the dark side of the city, I can say. Because there's a lot of misconceptions which is happening inside the city. So people, or even a woman, cannot come forward. She cannot live alone. So that's the one thing it's my findings in this novel. So next slide. Amma, next slide. So I'm just going to conclude this novel. Kana, next slide.
Ma'am, just a minute, ma'am.
So here, Deshpande concludes that Jaya's rebellion nature is not a solution to all the problems of life. Rather, it complicates the thing around her. So the last sentence of that long silence explicitly shows that human happiness consists in harmonizing the opposite of life. So that's what Deshpande gives us a moral. So each and every novel have a moral, right? So likewise, the last sentence of this, that long silence, not only explicitly show the happiness consisting in harmonizing the opposite side of life. In Deshpande's novel, men give up easily and go to fresh fields. So not only Deshpande's novel, but eventually men give up easily. They go and get a new life. But women, we don't end up finding fresh fields, yes? So, because we emerge victorious after most battles who want to achieve individualization and authentic self-identity. We always struggle for authentication. So we really don't go far behind changing the culture and the tradition of the society. We go with our society. So they may be weak and even be oppressed, but they all have the willpower to rise up like a phoenix. So we are like a phoenix birds. Like we always rise up out of our own ashes. And the success of the novelist, here I really appreciate Shashi Deshpande for giving such a wonderful novel in the representation of the real life experience. So I really want to tell that this work is Shashi Deshpande's real life experience. She realistically depicts the inner conflict of Jaya and her quest for the self identity in that long silence. So that long silence concentrates on an important theme, so gender differentiation and valorizing of the male categories along with the silence and surrender to which a woman is subjected in our society. So we always go with a society. So it's time for us to break our silence. Next slide. So that's all. Thus this webinar attempts to depict how the attitude and behavior of women differs according to the society and culture she belongs to. So this is what the main point I just want to discuss. Uh, Give me an opportunity. Such a wonderful novel. I always love this novel. Whenever I was given a chance to take this novel in my class, I often become very sensitive to discuss about this novel because we are the one who can make a lot of changes. We don't want to bother about the society, we don't want to bother about the family or nothing else. So self respect is most important. So that's why Jaya is very silent, and she was coping up all the struggles she has met. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to take part in this webinar, and thank you all for your valuable time. Thank you so much, Menaka. I think I have taken a lot of time. Any questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Any questions?
Ma'am, there is a question in the chat box, ma'am.
Isn't she an individual? Doesn't she have her response normal in traumatic situation? So, see, as you say, if we are in our 20th century, 21st century, so we are an individual. We have our self-respect. But Jaya, she's in her 1980s, so she has to definitely follow the rule imposed by her family, by her husband, and so on. So I think we can take a lot of we are responsible for our traumatic situations, but those days because they often depend upon their family, and after that their husband, and after that their heirs, and so on. So I don't think this novel is a cross-culture crisis because the suffering of women, in maybe in Bengali, maybe in Calcutta is not different. Maybe in Tamil Nadu is not different. It's all the same. Only the incarnations are different according to your husband, but it's all the same. I think so. So what is the cultural trauma? So it's here the cultural trauma is that we are born in a middle class family and we are categorized people. Like you are a middle class people, you have to do only this, you have to do only that, and you have to be like this, you have to be like that, you have to wash the vessels, you have to be always obedient to your husband. So these are all the traumas I can say because of her own cultural themes in Calcutta. So I have been in Calcutta for nearly a year, 1 year. So I know what are the cultural traumas being led by women, especially women. So when I just hear each and every one of the women's stories, really difficult for them to survive in that dark city. So we are here very safe, right? We are here very safe. We are working. We are even making a lot of achievers. We are making a lot of successful peoples while working in college. We are teaching them. We are preaching them. We give all sort of liberty to them. So here, there in Calcutta, there's a lot of cultural traumas happening inside the city, also outside the city. So, for especially for me, the cultural trauma in this novel is all about gender discrimination and also the societal concepts, which I really not accept. Any other questions? So I think I don't believe this novel justifies with, or goes with cross culture because we have one simple theme about gender discrimination, sufferings, and so on. I think Shashidesh Pandey is representing life of Indian mother, her consciousness, her inability, her challenges. Yes, yes, of course. It is a cultural trauma in Indian society which we all need to subvert. Yes, exactly. Do you think, madam, that Jaya is living her life by conforming to Indian patriarchal cultural backdrop? Yes, ma'am. Because see, in some point of view, we are like a bullock cart, right? So we have to travel. We cannot exit. We have to travel. We have to fight. We have to fight for our rights in certain periods, certain for the certain causes. So not only Jaya, even you take an example of me or you or whomsoever maybe. We keep on fighting. We keep on fighting for our rights. Yes. So I think though see individually she's fighting. She's fighting to cope up with her life. That's what I can tell. Definitely, it is a cultural trauma in the Indian society. We have to we have to overcome. So, any other questions? அம்மா வேற ஏதாவது questions இருக்காமா? So, discriminatory in nature. Ma'am, so we cannot blame somebody else. We cannot blame somebody else. We cannot blame our India. We cannot blame our culture. We cannot blame our tradition. So how can we blame such sort of things? You have to change. You have to bring a change to the society. I can say that. So I couldn't able to. Brahma Samaj propagated by Rabindranath Tagore and Arya Samaj. In what ways those ideologies affected the women of West Bengal? So I can say that, see, when we speak of West Bengal, yeah, we have Brahma Samaj propagated and also Arya Samaj that was done by Rabindranath Tagore, as I agree. And also, Raja Ram Mohan Roy was the only person who abolished sati. So if it is not abolished, you just think. So there's a lot of goodness happening in a city or somewhere else. maybe in Calcutta also. It is even defined as a city of joy. So, so I'm not blaming that it's a dark side city. It's a dark side city only for Jaya. So I'm not blaming some other customs and traditions of West Bengal. So you have to understand that. So we cannot what affected the women of West Bengal. So I didn't say that these are many ideologies like Arya Samaj. So like these ideologies doesn't affect women. Yes, so it was propagated by Tagore. So you know you have if you have read Gitanjali, you will know how Tagore struggled a lot at the end. Yes, so end of his life he lost his wife, he lost her his son, daughter, and in you know Gitanjali got a Nobel Prize. So in that Gitanjali, if you read each and every sentences, you will know the real suffering of an individual. So how Tagore suffered in his last time period. So you have to just go through that Gitanjali to get an answer for this. Yes.
Hello, good afternoon. Good
Menaka,
afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello,
Menaka.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I have a question to
Yes, ma'am.
the Deepa madam. Hello.
Ma'am, am I audible? Ma'am, am
Uh,
I audible?
can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Uh, as Deepa ma'am puts it like we cannot
Ma'am,
blame.
1 minute, ma'am, 1 minute. My volume is very low.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, tell me.
Uh, as Deepa ma'am says, we cannot blame any culture. I have a question as to
Yeah, yes.
why women have been living in this plight for so long in India. If we cannot blame Indian
Sorry, can you
society,
please repeat it once again, ma'am? Can you please repeat it once again? Can
if
you
you
please be louder?
yes, if I have to restate your statement that
Yeah,
we cannot blame Indian culture or Indian society or any other culture, why
yeah.
have women have been living in this plight for so many years in India? If it is
So
their
you,
choice, they can make any change. Why haven't they been doing it?
so, so what are you trying to say? I just, so we don't want to live in the society or what? So we know that we have a lot of flaws in the inside the society. So even men are living right. So why we have got to also we have also want to live and we have also fight for our rights.
Now, in this character, Jaya, is Jaya living her life?
So in the beginning stages, Jaya is not living her life, I think, because she's each and every day she longs for her husband's love, she longs for her children love, everything, and at the end, even her husband realizes the importance of Jaya.
No, why should a husband realize her importance? She has her identity. She has to have
She
an
has,
environment wherein she has to live.
sorry,
She should have an
sorry, ma'am,
environment
sorry.
wherein. Hello, am I audible? Am I
Yeah, yeah,
audible?
yeah.
Uh,
Yes, yes,
uh,
ma'am.
uh,
Yes,
uh,
ma'am.
why do we require, why Jaya requires an environment for her to live created by Mohan? She should
Here,
have,
Deshpande.
yeah, why does she expect, why should she expect an environment to be created by her husband? She has to have an opportunity, she has to have an environment in the society itself. Rights, if the rights are equal, why should she expect her husband to create an environment for her?
Yeah, that's what. See here, Deshpande makes an authentic plea. So to free female psyche from male-dominated society. So that is what. So see, when you are talking about female-centric, you are talking about female-centric view, right? So it's really difficult for Jaya to survive
Sorry,
if she is
I'm
not
not talking about female
following her
centric.
husband's path.
I'm sorry, I'm not
So
talking about female centric as
she
well.
may, what here, as I already told you, the success of the novel lies in her representation of real experiences. Shakti Deshpande's real experiences. So here realistically depicts the inner conflicts of Jaya and her quest for self-identity. So that is what I keep on mentioning, self-identity. So it's just a novel. I don't know. In real life, even we people will take such bold decisions. I really don't know. If it comes to our own experience, then we can indulge. Hello, am I audible, ma'am? Hello. And also, see, your question is really a good one. And also, my statement is that it attempts to depict how the attitude and behavior of women differs according to the societal norms. Menaka, over?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you, ma'am. Shall we conclude the session, ma'am?
one. Ma'am, you just conclude.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. You have palpably pointed out the cultural discrimination in the novel, that long silence. Silence, no questions, no retorts, only silence. From this quote, you made us to realize the cultural conflicts of life. I would like to thank each and every participant who made this session very interactive. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us, ma'am.
Thank you, Menaka. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. So you call me
Thanks
once,
a
we'll
lot, ma'am.
come directly to your college to give um, webinar talk.
Sure, ma'am. Always welcome, ma'am.
We will also call you once for here. You have you should come here to just uh, like an alumni and also a professor of PPG college to give us a speech.
Sure, ma'am.
Dear participants, thank you all for your presence today. We will again meet on Monday, and tomorrow and day after tomorrow we don't have the sessions. We will have the sixth session on Monday. Thank you all. Have a nice day. E- Yes, we will post the feedback link shortly. Please wait a moment.